Computer. Oh my gosh. Hello, Miriam.
Yay, Neely.
Long time
Yay.
no see. Come in to give me a hug.
Oh.
Okay. Hey, everybody. So some of you know me, some of you know Miriam, some the lucky ones know both. But for anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Nili. I used to hang out with Miriam for like, I don't know, like 15 years in Jerusalem. And my like cross section in life is psychology and Judaism and like how to walk through life, let's say, with the heart of compassion and understanding. And Miriam, what do you do?
So I have a couple different hats, but I'm an artist and I am a parenting coach.
Yeah.
Very passionate about, creating peace and more harmony, more understanding between parents and children.
Okay, guys, that was like the most humble under exaggeration I've ever heard. Miriam is not just a parenting coach. Miriam is like saving families all over the world in really deep, profound, meaningful, humble ways. Ser-
Wow, thank
Seriously,
you.
Miriam, that is underspoken. But okay, so here's the story, my friends. I had this like, I keep having this repeat experience in my office and working with women. And I was like, I gotta call Miriam and see if this is a thing or if this is just something that my brilliant Kiddush that no huge psychologist has ever come up with before. But I'm like, okay, so Miriam, so two things. Okay. First of all, let's just do some shame busting. In my experience with, oh, first of all, disclaimer, I'm not a parent. Please God, I will be this year. Let's see what the Lord has in store. But, after enough time of watching my girlfriends raise their families and enough client sessions and women confiding in me, I can tell you that there is a huge shame that need be bust. And Miriam, have you ever heard this sentence from like excellent mothers or like just any mother? Like they arrive at their place of shame, they break down in tears and they go, I'm just a horrible mother.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
It's like it's so wild to me because I'm looking at these women who dedicate their entire lives to their children, spend their whole day like taking care of their family, and at the end of the day there's like they're just left with this feeling no matter what they've done that they're a horrible mom. And every time I hear it, which is often, my jaw just kind of drops. Like, I need to start the secret horrible moms club so everyone could be a part of it. Do you find that with your clients that like at the end of the day, the moms are just like, oh, I just a horrible mom.
Yeah, totally. And I identify with it personally, as a mother of five. And parents will come and they just, because it's such a precious relationship and parents want it to work so badly every time that they, quote unquote, blow it or they raise their voice and they do something that they're trying to like free themselves from certain habits. And anytime they go back, they just feel so much shame and feel so bad about themselves. And yeah, it's really, definitely a part of the coaching is just like helping parents. I work with both, but mostly mothers, and really see the small steps to see the good. I always think about, Rabbi Nachman's Nekudat Tovot, we see it in our kids, but we also have to see it in ourselves. Like every little good thing, every little good effort, every teeny little step in the right direction. I read a book once where she talked about like we don't even count baby steps, we count fairy steps. Like we're even the teeniest step in the direction of our goals, we count. And we just, like I think feeling, being able to see progress, being able to see the good things that we're doing and not just the negative, is just like so crucial, because the more you see it, then the more you actually want to do it. It's like when we say, oh, I'm a terrible mom, it's kind of what we're bringing down. It's like, oh yeah, I'm a terrible mom, I'm going to believe that I'm going to act that way. And like the more I can see the good, more I can believe in the good. Like it's both in our kids. It's like I coach people all, we have to see the good in our kids. We have to like see them in their best light. We have to like have Mashiach eyes in the way that we talk or see or our kids. But like kind of we have to do the same thing for ourselves. We have to really be able to track and say, yeah, I really tried, and I kept my patience for like 2 whole minutes before I lost it. That was amazing. That was amazing.
So
Yeah.
so appropriate for the new year, just for everyone to have this, exposed thought that pretty much all moms relate to that. And like the work is like so like it is so it's so simple and it's so real, sometimes the simplest. Um,
Yeah.
So, okay, so first of all, thank you for sharing that. And then really where this takes me is this one reason that a lot of these moms have said to me that they're horrible. And this gets really gut-wrenching, Miriam. So I know you've heard this a million times, but here in my experience is one of the number one reasons that moms think they're horrible. And then I'll share my mind-blowing theory that I'm so proud about. So the reason that a lot of moms have come to me is because and at first they couch it in like really polite terms. They're like, well, I'm having a hard time connecting to this one kid of mine, and it's just kind of one kid, and they just kind of like like they're my challenge. And I like look at them, I'm like, they drive you crazy and you hate them. They're like, yes, yes, I can't stand them. Oh, they make my skin crawl. I'm like, get off of me. And like, then they really come out with like how hard it is. First they try to couch it in like nice terms, but then they're like, I'm gonna pull my hair out. I can't stand this kid. Get them away from me. So first I like to be like, oh my God, do you know how often that happens? And they're like, really? Other people like can't stand one of their kids? I'm like, yeah, pretty much. I'm sure that's the formula. So just first question before I drop my huge, exciting theory is, you relate to this, right? Like a lot of parents, this is the story. One kid is just hard.
Yeah, for sure. And I know a mother who called her kid Tiki for Tiku. And like I know, like I think we all have, I have the kid that because of them, I actually went and studied to be a parent because I just knew I needed to grow. I didn't know what to do there. I was so stuck. I think we all encounter, the kids that are our challenge. And I always coach parents. I'm like, this is your gift. Like these kids are our gift because like through parenting, because we care so much and because we want so much to do good for them and to be the parent that they need, we're willing to put in work that I don't know if we were willing to put in for any other relationship. And when these challenges await us, like this is such an opportunity, especially like you were saying, like right before the new year, like to really examine these places that we're stuck. And it's like, oh, this is where I have work to do. This is where my neshama is calling me right now to like, oh, this is where I can really go deeper. This is where I can look at my past. Like, why is this kid triggering me? What's going on here? Is this kid like me? Is this kid different than me? Is this kid representing all the things that I couldn't be? What is it in this kid?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Please, sorry.
Yeah, just yeah, it's like really an opportunity. Like I always say, like this is the opportunity. Like this is where the work, the good work is waiting for you.
When I used to teach, I was teaching in the seminary systems over there for like a decade. And like my opening speech to the girls was, maybe some of you are going to meet your best friends this year, and that's awesome. And then who else is amongst these girls? The ones you don't really care about. That could be your company. But who's the best out of this room right now is the girls you're going to hate and that are going to trigger the crunk out of you. Those are your deepest teachers. And they were like, so, okay. So Miriam, here's my theory. Okay. Here's the big, I'm so excited to share it with you and the Olam theory, because it's like every time I've dropped this theory on a mom, they like, oh my God. Okay. And it's so simple, and it's totally how we interact with each other and the world in general, but applied to motherhood, it's like mind-blowing. So what I came to learn, not through textbooks, just through years of, meeting with moms and friends. Okay, here's the theory. not so revelatory, but it is. I know. Okay, so you have this mom, and we're having a conversation, and she's gently telling me about how her son is hard for her, but really she can't stand him. And she's describing him to me. Now, this mom is so put together. Her mascara is on, her outfit is perfect. She tells me all about all these meals she hosts for Shabbat and how they're beautiful and everything is well placed. And then she starts telling me about her son and how he's like out of control and he doesn't follow by any social norms and his shirt's always untucked and he's just so uncontrollable and messy and like, she's just like gritting. And I asked her, I'm like, so are the things that you hate about your son the things that you'll never let yourself be? And she was like it took her a minute, but like it started dropping in. And then this other mom who's like a social light and is like so popular and well liked and entertaining, and she has this kid, and this kid is like quiet and reserved and doesn't care about accomplishing and sits in their room, teenager, does nothing. And the mom is like bonkers, like loves the kid obviously as her kid, but can't stand this kid. And so I asked the mom again, I was like, are these qualities that you can't stand in your kids the things that you have yet to accept about yourself? And the mom's like, no, what do you mean? I'm so productive. I'm so social. You put me in a situation and I'm friends with everybody. And this kid of mine doesn't even talk to anybody. And I'm like, yeah, so like you would never let yourself behave that way. And the mom was like, okay, so my big theory, Miriam, is that one of the main reasons that parents struggle with one particular kid is that kid embodies all of the qualities that said parent would never let themselves behave as. In other words, those qualities the parent has not accepted about themselves. And then that kid comes to the world and reflects that perfectly to the parent. And the parent is like, whoa, here, like you were saying about the teaching or the learning opportunity, like this is the learning of unconditional love. So anyways, that is my mind blow. And I know it's so simple and obvious, but what do you think, Miriam?
I think we need like, some kind of wow emoji like on the screen.
It is wow,
Yeah.
right? Like it's kind of
Yeah.
embarrassing for me because it's so simple and obvious psychologically, but like every time I let this bomb drop on a parent, like literally, I had a parent call me, this one first mom call me and say, okay, not me, but Hashem, but whatever, like you just changed my whole life. Like my family, I have a relationship with my son again, and I apologized to him and I told him that I do accept him and I'm going to work on accepting him and I love him no matter how he is, and our family is like back together now. And it's just like, yeah. So what do you think about this theory? Yeah,
Yeah,
unreal.
like, if I'm like thinking about it for myself, I remember experiencing this kind of sensation of this one child did everything that I was not allowed to do
Yeah.
as a child. And it was like really intense. It was like, no, but I wasn't allowed to be loud, or I wasn't allowed to be crazy, or I wasn't allowed to dress that way. I wasn't allowed to like break the norm. I had to like, and it was definitely really challenging for me, personally, to be able to be like, to find the place in me that was like, yeah, but okay, so this is what is. And also see like, I think, it's so much, again, it's like this opportunity to go deep and to find, the empathy for the parts of us that are being challenged, and the parts of us that are suffering, instead of it being about like, oh, so my kid is bad because they're doing all these things that I couldn't do or I wouldn't do, or they have all these opportunities. I have parents that I work with, they have all these opportunities that I never had, and they have, and instead of putting it out there on that, in that kind of a voice, it's like, oh wait, but like what part of me is this, what part of me is reacting to this? What part of me didn't get what, the opportunity is? A part of me is feeling, the pain of being stifled, or the pain of having to behave this way in order to be okay. And then I think so much of it is like really, when we're talking about like unconditional love, it's really saying to our kid and to ourselves, like, your behavior or your achievements, that's not where love is. Love is just a given. It's a God-given right. You were born to me, you're born to you, God willing, this year, you're born to anyone. And you have a God-given right to be loved unconditionally. And it has nothing to do with anything that you do. It's just there. And, I think so many of us did not grow up that way. Like, I think that it's kind of a revolutionary kind of concept that love is not dependent on anything, that really it's unconditional. Really, it's unconditional. I work with parents, they're like, really? You mean it's really unconditional? I'm like, yeah, it's really unconditional. Like, really, it's just there, and it's just this God-given right, and they don't have to work for it. And I think it also touches us in the places where we had to work for it, where we didn't have that. We didn't have that gift. I like to think about it in Elul right now of like, it's like this time of chesed, right? It's this time of like, Hashem says, ben kach u ben kach kruim banim, like no matter what, like we're Hashem's children. And this invitation for just come close. I'm here, like I'm in the sedem, I'm available, I'm here. And this persona of a parent that is such a challenge for us to embody, because we didn't receive that ourselves. And yeah.
And I would add, I mean, the source, we didn't receive it. And I'd say even more like now is we're still not allowing it, like that place of unconditional self-love, or else we wouldn't necessarily have that problem with that kid. Because if I was allowed to love myself where I was, let's say, a mess or out of control, or if I gave myself permission to love myself unconditional in that place where I'm not a social light, then those things that the kid is reflecting back to me would just be like, oh yeah, you too? Okay. Like I'll yeah, I'm gonna be in that love also.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I wanted to like cut us short because I wanted us to have just a brief convo that we were describing, but there's one teaching that's like coming down from last week's parsha from Nitzavim. And I don't know if I get confused if I made up an idea or if I learned it from somewhere. So we'll just say some great rabbi or rebbitzin somewhere said. This beautiful teaching about the Parshat Nitzavim, where the idea is, here you are, it's Moses' last day of life, here you are standing here today, all of you before me. And all the rabbis say, okay, this is about Rosh Hashanah, you're all standing here, the whole congregation, the leaders, the elders, the water carriers, da 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 da. So like you're all here, and like the general message is like unity, yay, we're all standing before God. But the deeper teaching on that I love so much is that all of you is standing here today, as in Hakol Sheli, the all of me. Like when I stand before God, I'm not just standing before God with those positive qualities that I've accepted about myself and I can love on condition, talui bedavar, but rather that the all of me is standing before God, like all those parts, the parts that I've accepted already and the parts that I have yet to accept and the parts that I'm relegating to the shadow and that I don't like and that I'm turned off about my kid because they possess those qualities, the all of me is standing there. And if God can take it, and if God can take it, and I think that's an invitation for us too to do the same with ourselves, and then please God to be able to do that for our kids. Have you heard that, the all of me teaching?
No, like Aaron was saying, my husband was saying in Shul and Shabbos, like that's like we all bring qualities that together we bring a whole. So like I was thinking of that also. It's like, what you bring is needed. What you bring is crucial for the world, even if it's like really different from what I was able to bring. It's like also like embodying that. But I love that idea of like bringing all of you.
All of you.
It's so powerful, so powerful. I feel like that's really the call of Elul. It's just like, I'm called to be close no matter what. It's like it's not about like, am I okay? Am I not okay? It's just like, no, it's just a call. It's just like I love the idea of like there's a bat call that like comes out every day saying Shuvu Banim Shovavim, right? And we don't hear it. It's like, just come back, my rascally children, just come to me. I'm here. Just come get close. And like we just don't hear it. And because we get blocked from really hearing that, no, I'm wanted, all of me is wanted, these shovav, these rascally parts, no, they're also good, they're also wanted here. And then like when we have a hear tshuva, it's like, oh, because I heard that, because then I believe that I can be good. Like if I can't hold all the parts, it's like we were saying at the beginning, full circle.
For sure. Leah Golem, may she and your Ima be blessed. And
Amen.
Says that the first step of tshuva is you have to not give up on yourself. Yeah.
So beautiful.
Well, Miriam, I don't want to keep you. It's getting late at night. Do you have any other thoughts that you want to share around this topic?
Yeah, just if give a bracha on what we talked about. It would be just like just compassion and kindness to ourselves, really finding the place where we can hold all of us and really bring all of us, and know that like our kochot, our strengths are because of all of it together, and that's what makes it, what makes us be who we are. And if we try to not be something specific, we just can't be what we want to be. And especially in this parenting journey, we should be able to be authentic. We should find our true selves and be able to bring it in a really real way that allows us to be able to love unconditionally ourselves and our children and our significant others.
I want to tag on your bracha and add to that anyone who sees this should know that if they ever felt like a horrible mom or dad, parent, whatever, that they're not alone. This is like the secret belief of almost all parents. So you're okay. And that also that if you are that parent that like can't stand one of their kids, like you're also not alone. And there are ways of healing it. Reach out to Miriam or me, whatever. That was not meant to be a plug, but like truth be told, like Miriam is doing miracles in this world and I'm witnessing miracles with my families too. So yeah, may this be an amazing year for us all to accept and even love and honor all those parts of us that we would rather not, so that we can offer that to everyone else around us.
Amen. Amen. And come to go to Nili. Nili brings the light down into the world,
We'll do it with
Nili
glitter.
she brings hope to all of us.
Oh,
Much.
can you hear it, son? That's our job. That's our national mission.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. This was so special.
Shana tova metukan. Thank you everyone for joining me.
Thank you.
Bye y'all.
Bye.